Vanakkam Dohadeva and everyone. Wonderful to be with you again. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mahavinvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I will share the screen. And we have our first topic. Keeping the mind clear. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to attend a gathering of the Council of Hindu Temples of North America in Flint, Michigan. During the evening ceremony, the resident Acharya at Arsha Vidya Gurukulam in Pennsylvania, Swami Pratya Bodhananda, received an award on behalf of Swami Dayananda Saraswati. In his acceptance speech, Swami offered a charming explanation of Om Namah Shivaya, one of Hinduism's foremost mantras for japa. Om is to invoke. Shivaya means to God Shiva, and Nama means to surrender. You should all chant Om Namah Shivaya for 1 minute at 8 a.m., 12 noon, 4 p.m., and 8 p.m. That was the sadhana he gave to everyone. Never heard of that sadhana before. Sounds like a good one. Of course, that is what Om Namah Shivaya means, but usually the word surrender is not used for Nama. We would generally say it means to prostrate, praise, worship, revere, but Swami said to surrender. He went on to explain that all our frustrations in life, our stress and unhappiness, come from not surrendering, not accepting what is as it is. If we can accept what is, if we can surrender to God Shiva, then we won't have that stress. We won't have that unhappiness. All we have to do is surrender. Easier said than done, of course, but can do it with the help of Gurudeva's teachings. We can reach a state of surrender. So as it says later, surrender is not giving up. Surrender in this case means accepting what's happening as what's supposed to be happening. Whether it's good, mixed, or bad, we accept it as, well, this is what is supposed to be happening at this time. I as an individual, my family as a family, country as a country, the world as a world, has done things in the past that have brought this to happen in the present. So that's how we accept it. It's not that it's what we wanted, it's just that what is happening we're able to accept, and because we're able to accept it, we're able to work positively with it, and that reduces stress. Stress is fighting a situation, not working with it. I immediately thought of Gurudeva's explanation of surrendering to God Shiva. In Dancing with Shiva, Gurudeva uses the dance analogy that all of life is the dance of Shiva. Life is Shiva in motion. It is his dance. And if we can either flow with the dance or we can resist it. If we are able to dance with Shiva, not resist or fight it, then everything goes well for us. Said another way, dancing with Shiva is the ability, the philosophical ability to accept what is as what should be. The challenge, of course, is that there are so many problems in the world that we wish weren't there. But when we surrender to God Shiva, we can clearly see that all that is occurring is an expression of what was set in motion previously. It's all working itself out. We can't stop that which was set in motion from expressing itself. We can only direct it. It's like if you have too much water. It's raining so hard you have too much water and it looks like it's going to come in and enter your front room. And this is if you're on the ground floor. You can direct it to go some other way, but you can't stop it or eliminate it. So certain things we can handle them by redirecting the force of it. We can channel it, but we can't totally eliminate it unless the whole world is doing tapas. But that's not very realistic. We can influence it for the better, but it will still continue to work itself out as the past expresses itself in the present through the unfailing cosmic law of karma. So that's the idea of mitigation. We talked about that before, that generally the best an individual can do is mitigate negative karma, meaning lessen the negativity. Very hard to eliminate it, which requires significant tapas or significant, really strong blessings from the deity. But everybody can mitigate or influence it for the better. Chalapaswami had a succinct way of stating this insight. What was Chalapaswami's statement regarding this surrender and events in the world? And of course, there is not one wrong thing in English. Or you could say there is not even one wrong thing. Tamil is Oru Pola Pum Illai. Not even one thing wrong. Being able to accept the world as it is, accept our life as it is the practice of surrendering to or dancing with Shiva. What is fatalism and why do we disagree with it? This does not mean we should be fatalistic or not try to make improvements. The attitude of fatalism is, if everything is as it should be, why should I even try? It won't do any good anyway. In truth, we can make strategic changes in our own life through the decisions we make. We affect our future, not only in this life, but in lives yet to be lived, by what we do in the present. In the wider world beyond our personal sphere, our ability to change things is limited and delayed by time. It is hard, for instance, to bring peace to the world by our individual actions. Even here, we should not become discouraged. All our actions taken together can and do make a difference in the course of time. One of the beauties of Gurudeva's teachings is that they are both conceptual and pragmatic, containing the tools, the things to do to control the forces of mind and emotion and manifest spiritual ideals in our life. So conceptual and pragmatic, that's alternate terms for what in the past we've called, in Hinduism we have the abstract idea or the philosophy, and then we need the practice, the way to actually achieve it. So we need both. So this is calling the abstract, the conceptual, and the practice, the pragmatic. Negative attachments to the past is one of the main obstacles to surrendering to God Shiva, because it congests the subconscious mind and thus makes a person reactive, preoccupied, and prone to instinctive emotions such as impatience, frustration, anger, resentment, and despair. In such states, it is impossible to maintain an attitude of surrender and acceptance. Far too many things in our life are wrong to sustain the consciousness that Shiva's world is perfectly all right. One tool Gurudeva gives to eliminate life's burdens is called Vasanada Tantra, of course, writing down memories of the past that are emotional and negative and burning them up. Writing them down brings them out of the subconscious mind, and burning them up dispels the emotion and gives us the sense that they are gone. So the memory's still there, it's just the emotional content of it is gone when we do it correctly or do it enough times. Quite often, memories of the past are what bog down our spiritual life. Imagine you have a basement in a house, these days it's usually the garage, and you just keep putting things there with the promise that one day you will clean them out and organize everything. Often that day never comes. Life is so busy that you just keep storing more things away. Eventually, the basement is so full and congested that you can't find anything, and it is troublesome to even go there. Our mind is like that. Life is so fast-paced that day after day after day, we put experiences that are still bothering us into our subconscious without resolving them. This creates a growing burden. But the mind has a wonderful mechanism to tell us when something is unresolved. Do you know what it is? Memory. We remember the experience on a regular basis. We may remember it several times a day. That means it is unresolved. Subconscious mind is displaying it unsolicited on our mental screen, letting us know it needs attention. If we ignore it for a time, say a week or two, the subconscious mind finally gives up reminding us. It says, you don't seem to want to resolve this matter, so I will store it away. It dutifully puts it in the subconscious basement or the subconscious garage. To avoid building up a subconscious of unresolved memories, it is obvious what we need to do. We need to act on each experience while it is still alive in our mind, right? Do what's needed to resolve the matter. And our question, what are some ways we can resolve an experience? Sometimes just thinking about it is enough, when the problem is simply that we haven't taken the time to reflect deeply enough to fully understand it. Most such memories involve conflicts or misunderstandings with people. Through reflection, we can come to see the other person's point of view. This broadens our understanding and makes us feel better about the experience. For serious disagreements that we can't come to terms with alone, we may need to talk with the person. Sometimes to smooth things out, we need to offer an apology. And if that's not appropriate because of the nature of the relationship, we can offer a gift. We can also write down the problem and burn it up. If we do this mental maintenance on a regular basis, we should avoid filling up the subconscious with unresolved negative experiences. Why is this important? Because divinity is on the other side of that barrier of emotion. Our soul nature can be obstructed by a congested subconscious. When we look inward in meditation, we are trying to see our soul nature, trying to see our divinity, our superconscious. The subconscious mind has a lot of unresolved matters in it. All we see is the subconscious mind. That's not much fun, so we don't look within very often. Keep distracting ourselves. Let's go out to a movie. What's on TV tonight? Because what's inside of us isn't that enjoyable. But if we keep the subconscious uncongested, it is transparent. And when we look within, we can see right through it and perceive our divinity. Those who want to live in and enjoy their inner self, their spiritual nature, need to keep the subconscious mind clear. Keep it from piling up with unresolved negative experiences. In this way, seekers avoid clinging to the past and are better able to surrender to God Shiva and accept the present as it is, while at the same time working to create a positive future. Gurudeva sums it up beautifully in Dancing with Shiva. The world is seen as it truly is, sacred. When we behold Shiva's cosmic dance, everything in the universe, all that we see, hear, and imagine is movement. Galaxies soar in movement, atoms swirl in movement. All movement is Shiva's dance. When we fight this movement and think it should be other than it is, we are reluctantly dancing with Shiva. We are stubbornly resisting, holding ourselves apart, criticizing the natural processes and movements around us. It is by understanding the eternal truths that we bring all areas of our mind into the knowledge of how to accept what is and not what we wish it to be otherwise. Once this happens, we begin to consciously dance with Shiva, to move with the sacred flow that surrounds us, to accept praise and blame, joy and sorrow, prosperity and adversity and equanimity, the fruit of understanding. We are then gracefully in unrestrained surrender, dancing with Shiva. End of our first topic. Moving on, the second topic is another testimony in the SBNR series. Vignesh Kartik, 25, lives in New Delhi. He grew up in a religious family that prays to Lord Shiva. He says that while young he was taught hatha yoga and meditation, but my fondness for mixed martial arts did not give me time for hatha yoga. I meditate regularly, and I have been taught a practice called Shambhavi Mahamudra, Shakti Kriya, which I do as a spiritual exercise. So he's meditating, looking at it as spiritual. In his youth, most family outings comprised visits to temples and other holy places. To this day, he goes to a temple twice a week. It started as something my mother wanted me to do, owing to an astrologer's insistence. Now it is more to help me focus and feel better. Vignesh has become an avid seeker. This enables me to better myself with every passing moment. Furthermore, God has helped me fathom the essence of potential of I do not know. Vignesh believes that the experience of religion or spirituality can be better if the potential of I don't know is explored. It's also Chalapaswami, right? Now Mariom. We do not know. His search is a constant process of learning and unlearning. Belief systems are great, but I want them to be a small core of my being. So he's going after experience rather than just intellectual, the concept. He holds himself open to all sorts of new ideas and thoughts, whether they come in the form of criticism or differences. Vignesh credits the core values of Hinduism for his decision-making. He says Hinduism has been an important source of information in his life. It helps inform his arguments and opinions on both abstract and pragmatic dimensions. I used to watch the Ramayana. However, I really loved reading Ramayana and Mahabharata. Considering the fact that I know the stories quite well, I go back to them with a different view every time I get an idea or a chance. For example, no violence against women, no matter what, is something the Mahabharata has taught me so much. Even when making small, simple decisions like whom or where to help, Vignesh looks at the intent of the person and not just the action in isolation. So looking at how I make decisions, I have a value system. It came from my mom, and she got it from the God that she worshipped and the stories she had heard, stories she has told me. I'm always trying to forgive a person who didn't intend to cause harm. Vignesh is a student of identity politics. He feels youth are not trying to ape Western culture. Just because I walk into temple wearing jeans and a t-shirt doesn't mean I am any less Hindu than you are. It is convenient, instead of draping an entire dhoti, which is uncomfortable for me. Youth, he says, are not trying to denounce their religion, but rather to adjust it. I would want to make it more inclusive, egalitarian, and less rigid. We just need a few good people because I believe revolutions are started by just a handful. The ideations and the discourse that just happen amongst a few people. dissemination that has to happen in a large scale. I see a lot of discourse now which wasn't there before. I see a lot of young people even trying to defend the old practices if they have any merit to them. He firmly believes we need to preserve the spirit of questioning. Even a cursory look, even a bird's eye view at our history tells us that only discussions, debate, and nonviolent engagement have brought us results, and not violence in any form. Vignesh thinks of karmas as the building blocks of one's life. If you sow good things, you get back good things. I came across an interview of A.R. Rahman, Oscar-winning Indian music composer, where he said, if you do a wrong thing, don't give up. Don't go around feeling guilty, but instead compensate with 10 good things. I think that's a great practice. I have a set of principles that guide me involuntarily. For example, I don't resort to violence. I don't resort to lying to people. I don't resort to cheating. This just happens naturally. In his view, Hinduism manifests as a tool to navigate the journey of life. Religion is a tool just like the GPS. Spirituality is the destination. Oh, that's unusually mature for someone 25 years old, definitely kind of totally immersed in Hinduism, but also a free thinker in some ways. So he's spiritual and religious both for sure, but tends to be a little unconventional, I'd say, in his approach to religion sometimes. Oh, thank you very much. Oh.